Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing today? First of all, if you are joining me live, do say live in the chat box and let me know that you are watching, just so I know I'm not talking to myself. It's nice when I have some people live with me at the same time. It gives me a little bit more encouragement and energy to keep going. So thank you so much for joining me today. We are going to be talking about 10 ways to make a good impression on your boss and get promoted faster. So that's what we're covering today. But before we get started, I do want to let you know that I would love for you to join my next masterclass. If you are someone that's looking to get better at public speaking, you are an introvert and you want to be able to speak up more, not be so invisible anymore, go ahead and join my free masterclass. All you have to do is go to www.speakatwork.com. Again, that's www.speakatwork.com. Really looking forward to seeing you there. I do see a lot of people that are live right now. If you are live, do say hi and say live. If you are watching the recorded version, say recorded. I do go back and go through all of my messages. Hello, everyone. Hi. So happy to have you. So let's get started because today it is going to be a long list. And we are, again, covering 10 ways to make a good impression on your boss and get promoted faster. If you are someone that wants to get promoted in your company, if you want to move up the corporate ladder, then this one is for you. And do say promoted in the chat box. So I know that you are someone that wants to move up the corporate ladder. All right. Now, the first point that I have for you, and this one might seem obvious to some people, but it's something I had a big problem doing. So I do want to point this one out. The first thing you always want to do is arrive early, not on time, arrive early. When you arrive early, what you end up doing is you come more prepared. You know that feeling when you're late and you're constantly running, you're like, oh, I have to make it to this class, I have to make it to work, I have to do this, I have to do that. And then you get there and you're just out of breath and you're like, oh God, I've made it. But what ends up happening then is your brain is all scrambled, and at the same time, you're not calm and collected. So always aim to arrive at least 10 to 15 minutes early, especially if something goes wrong in the middle. At least you can still make it on time, worst case scenario. Always arrive on time. And this is something one of my mentors said to me, and it really stuck with me. And she said to me, Maria, if you are on time, you are late. That has really stuck with me, and it's helped me so much, just being on time, being extra early for everything. If you want to impress your boss, you have to show that you value your time, you value their time, and that's why you need to arrive early. So that's the first thing. The second thing that you need to do to impress your boss, and this is something I realized not a lot of people were doing, but you have to ask for help. Even if you don't need help, let's say that you are already well into your career, you're well into your job, you know your job inside out, you're doing really well, you don't really need that help, right? I would still suggest go and talk to your boss and ask them for help with something. If anything, ask them for help with how to make this better, right? If you already know how to do something. When you go up to your boss and you tell them that, hey, I need help with this, it shows that you want to grow. It shows that you want to continue improving. As soon as you stop asking for help, it just tells your boss that you are content where you are and that you're not really interested in growing and moving up. So anytime that you can, it could be something small, it could be something big, go and ask help from your boss. They absolutely love that. They are there to help you. They typically are there to encourage you and help you, kind of uplift you. So if you go to them and say, hey, can you help me do this? Then they feel like they're doing their job better, right? So make sure you are asking for help. So the third thing that you need to start doing is contributing more during meetings. Now, I know a lot of us here are introverts, and if you are an introvert, say introvert in the comment section. I am looking at the comment section right now. If you are an introvert, you're going to understand that it's very hard sometimes to speak. You don't know what to say, you don't know how to say it, you don't know how to contribute, especially during meetings, especially the ones that just kind of happen last minute. You just can't be as well prepared for them, correct? So it's very hard to contribute sometimes. But the easiest thing that you can do when you're going into these meetings, have some questions ready, right? If you can't do anything else, if you don't have anything else to say, the least that you can do is have some questions ready ahead of time and ask those questions. And these should be questions that really start a conversation. So again, hi introverts. I'm getting a whole bunch of introverts in the comment section. Good to see you guys. So if you understand, and I know you guys do, it's hard, but have those questions ready. And these questions should really be conversation starters. They should not be yes, no questions. So for example, instead of saying, did I do this right? That's a yes or no answer. Instead, say, how can I make this better? Or I'm working on this current project. I would love your feedback on this. Now, the other person is not just going to say yes or no. Instead, they're going to start a conversation with you, and then you can say something back, and then it turns into you contributing to the meeting. So never, ever, ever leave a meeting without saying anything. And I know it's hard, but start with the questions, right? Open-ended questions. Ask those during every single meeting. Okay. Now let's move on to the fourth tip that I have for you guys to make a good impression on your boss so that you can get promoted a lot faster. Number 4, it's to help your colleagues. Okay. So someone that is a good leader helps other people, especially other people that need help. So if you ever see your colleague is struggling with something, they are unsure about something, step in and say, hey, I've done that before, or I know how to do this. I can help you, and go ahead and help that person. Okay. And you don't necessarily go and tell your boss that you went and helped this person. Your boss is going to see it, right? Your boss is going to notice it. So don't worry about telling your boss that you helped your colleagues. Eventually, it's going to come around and your boss is going to notice that you are stepping up and you're helping other people. Okay. And by you doing that, you're showing your boss that you are a leader. You are someone that goes above and beyond for your job, and you are someone that should not be ignored, right? Instead, you are someone that deserves to move up, get those positions, and keep going up the corporate ladder. So you need to always be ready to help other people, even if it's something small, even if you've helped them before 5 times with something, right? And they still don't get it, still help them. Okay. And if you're helping them 5 times with something, it probably means that there's something wrong. There's some sort of disconnect. So find out what that disconnect is, figure it out together, and then help that person. And never ever pass on an opportunity to help another colleague. It's just going to make you look much better and leave a very good impression of you on your boss. Okay. Now let's move on to number 5. Number 5, always come prepared to every single meeting, to every single one-on-one, to every single presentation. If you guys are going to a conference, you always need to be prepared. Most of the time, people are afraid of public speaking, or they don't know why their nerves are crazy, is because they are not well prepared. So really ask yourself, when you're scared, when you're nervous, ask yourself, hey, am I just not prepared? That's the first thing that you should look at. How well prepared are you? Even for the small meetings, it could be just a one-on-one. Always go in and write things down. Try not to rely on your memory, because your memory will let you down. If you're anything like me, I have a memory of a goldfish. I forget. I have so many things going on that I could forget something from an hour ago. So I always write things down. I literally go through like 100 of these. As you can see, it's all filled out. Always write things down. Figure out a good system. I definitely need a better system than this. And I'm kind of working on another system of where I write everything down. Okay. Write it down and have it available to you. So you always come prepared. There is never any misunderstanding, any miscommunication. It's always, I'm ready, I'm prepared, and I'm good to go. So if you are not prepared, it's really going to affect the entire meeting, and chances are you won't contribute as much. Chances are you won't speak as much. So make sure you're always coming extra prepared, if anything. Okay. And by the way, if you are watching live right now, do say live. And if you're watching the recorded version, do say recorded. I'd love to go back and look at the messages after and see what you guys are saying. If you have any questions, drop them in there. And before we continue to tip number 6 and what you should be doing to leave a good impression on your boss, do join my masterclass. If you are an introvert and you are looking to overcome your fear of public speaking, you want to be able to get promoted, you want to speak up more during the workplace, then do join my live masterclass. It is going to be at www.speakatwork.com. So these are a little bit different. This is just a few minutes of our time together during the live masterclass. I really get to work with you guys, show you guys a bunch of things, and show you step by step what you need to do in order to become a more confident speaker, overcome that fear, and really move up the corporate ladder if you are an introvert. So do make sure that you join me on my next live masterclass. Again, it's www.speakatwork.com. You can also go to my profile and you should see join live masterclass or sign up for live masterclass. So make sure that you join. I will see you on the next one. Now let's move on to the next tip. So if you are just joining in, we are going through 10 ways to make a good impression on your boss so that you can get promoted much faster. If you were anything like me, when I was in the workforce, I was always ready for the next job. Yes, because I knew that meant new challenges. I knew that meant I was going to get a raise. I was going to make more money. And that meant I could buy more things. I could travel more. I could do all this stuff. So there are a lot of perks to getting promoted. And we want to make sure that we go back and do it faster. And if you've missed any of the tips, go back and watch the recording. And that's my dog right there, Caesar. Hello, say hi. So moving on to tip number 6. So this is one that, again, I see that a lot of people don't do, right? You always want to show and not tell, okay? So show them what you are capable of. Show your boss what you're good at. Show your boss everything that you're able to do, and show your boss that you and your values align with the company's core values, right? And you're not going to say it. You're not going to say, "Hi, boss, my values align with the core values of the company." No, you're going to show them how it aligns. For example, let's say integrity is one of the core values of your company, right? Always be someone that has integrity, right? That's going to show your boss that, okay, this person's core values align with the company's. And it's very important for your core values to align with the company's, because every company and every boss wants to move up people who fit well in the company. So if your values are very different from your company, then there's going to be a mismatch and they're going to look over you and move on to someone else. Always show them that your values align with the company, okay? That's a very important one. And you're not going to tell them, you're going to show them. And you can do that again by figuring out, first of all, what are the core values, right? Is it customer service? Is it integrity? Is it honesty? What is it? Find out what they are and make sure everything that you do is in alignment with those values, okay? And show them, don't tell them. Number 7, always be honest about your mistakes. Now, I know a lot of us, we try to be perfect all the time. We try to do everything that we can to make good impressions. Sorry, that was Caesar. We always try to make good impressions on people, and it's going to happen where you're going to make a mistake. That's perfectly fine. That's going to happen. Caesar, it's okay. There's no one out there. He's protecting me from God's way. But you always want to show them that you're making mistakes and it's okay, right? Sorry, he's completely distracting me now, so I'm losing my trail of thought. But going back, and this happens, right, in real life. When you're speaking, you're going to have interruptions. You have to learn to come back from it quickly. So again, we're talking about always being honest about your mistakes. So if you make a mistake, the first thing that you want to do is talk to your boss and tell them, okay, I've made this mistake, right? And when you tell them that you've made a mistake, you don't just want to say, I made a mistake, sorry. No, you want to tell them, I've made this mistake, this is what I've learned, and this is how I'm going to fix it, or this is what I'm going to do next time so it doesn't happen again, right? You want to be very honest about these things, and they're going to happen. It could be a small mistake, it could be a big mistake. There will never be a time that everything will be 100% perfect. If it is, hats off to you. But if you do end up making a mistake one day, do go to your boss, tell them right away. Don't wait. Don't let someone else tell them. They should hear it from you first. You go right to them and tell them, boss, I made this mistake, and now I've realized why this mistake happened, and I'm going to make sure next time I do A, B, C, D to make sure that it does not happen again. Your boss is going to appreciate that, okay? And your boss is going to look at you as someone that understands, hey, it's okay making mistakes, and as long as you're learning from it, you can move on from there, okay? Again, so do not run away from your mistakes. Do not let someone else come and tell your boss. If it happens, if your boss isn't in the office, email them right away. Even if someone else tells them, your boss is going to go back, see the email, and realize, okay, so Maria came to me first and she told me, hey, I made this mistake and this is how I'm going to fix it. So make sure you are always being honest about your mistakes. Now, moving on to number 8. So we've covered 1 to 7 so far on 10 ways to make a good impression on your boss and get promoted faster. If you are someone that wants to get promoted, say promoted in the chat box. If you are perfectly happy with where you are, that's completely fine too. But if you want to take on a new challenge, a new role, if you want to get a raise, typically when you get promoted, you get a raise. If you are someone that wants to do that, say promoted in the chat box. I am watching the chat box. I am reading your messages. Do let me know. So again, promoted in the chat box. Moving on to number 8 on what you should do to make a good impression on your boss. You always want to master your job. If you are new, if you are old to the company, if you've been at the role for a few years, that is perfectly fine. But you want to make sure that you are mastering your job. I see a few people saying promoted. Exactly. Put that out there. Put that out there in the universe. I want to be promoted. Promotion. I want a promotion, right? Sometimes it's so scary even saying it out loud. So say it out loud, right? Get over that fear. Say it out loud. And it's okay to be honest about what you want, right? Be honest, say it, write it down, and let this be a place that you can write it down. Go ahead and write it in the chat box. I want to get promoted, or say promoted. Okay, so let me know that you want to get promoted with a raise. Exactly, right? So going back to number 8, that is mastering your job. Okay, so what you want to do anytime you start a job, you want to make sure that you master your job before anything, before you move on, sorry, I have to sneeze. No, it's gone. So before you do anything, before you even start thinking about the next job, you want to make sure that you master your current job. That means knowing the ins and outs. That means you're at a point now where you don't need any help. But again, remember point number 2, right? Always ask your boss for help, but you should still be at a point where you don't really need any help, okay? And the third thing you want to do, that's how you know you've mastered your job, is when you're helping other people, okay? So all of these 3 things will tell you that you've mastered your job. Once you have mastered your job, you should be at a position that even your boss, when he looks at you, and again, there's never really a time frame. Some people ask me, how long does it take to master your job? Everyone is different. It all depends on you, but the faster you do it, the better. Depending on the job, but I would typically say within 3 months, you should know your job inside out. You should have mastered it. You need to work extra hard during the beginning and master. And there will always be new things. As soon as there's a new thing that comes in, master it. Make sure you know how to do it. Okay? Once you've mastered your job, only then are you going to start doing all these other things to show your boss that you're ready to move on to the next step. Okay? And your boss needs to also feel that, hey, Maria's mastered her job. Daryl has mastered his job. Manam has mastered his job. Okay? Nadia's mastered her job. You need to make sure that, hey, my boss knows that I'm ready and I've mastered this job. So do pay attention to that. Okay? Let's move on to number 9, and 10 ways to make a good impression on your boss. So number 9, ask for more projects. Okay, this doesn't necessarily mean you're asking for a lot more work, but as soon as your plate is a little bit empty or you have a little bit more time, make sure you are asking for more projects, more work. It could even be something small that you're asking for, right? Maybe if you see that there is a workflow that isn't working, it could be something outside your job. Talk to your boss about it and say, hey, I know a few ideas to make this better. Can we go ahead and do this, right? Even if you are not actually taking on the project, if you have some feedback, then tell your boss, hey, I've noticed this isn't working so well. Why don't we try this? Or I think if we do it this way, it might work really well. This is now you taking more ownership of your job and showing your boss that you're thinking outside of the box, right? You're not stuck in that box that they've put you in. You're looking at everything around it as well. Okay, and that is a sign of a really good leader that's not stuck in one box. So start asking for more projects, ask for more work, and if you can't take on more work, that's perfectly fine too. Then start giving some feedback on things that can improve. Okay, if you see a problem with maybe a training, you see a problem with a project, make sure you're taking it up to your boss and telling them, hey, we need to fix this and this is how we should do it. Don't just come in with a problem, come in with a solution as well. Okay. Moving on to our last point, number 10, and that is always asking for feedback. Okay, I was just talking to one of my clients recently that did a presentation, and I asked her, I'm like, so what does your boss think about your presentation? And she's like, oh, she said it was good. And I'm like, okay, what did she like about it? And she was like, wow, I don't know. I've never asked her, right? Anytime that you do a presentation, anytime that you do something new, you complete a project, anytime you do something, you want to get feedback from your boss, okay? And you want to word it in a way where you're not saying, how did I do, right? You're not doing that. You're saying, I just finished this presentation. I got really good feedback. I got this, but I'd love to know from you also, what did you think of it? How can I make this better? What did you like? What did you not like? Give her at least 2-3 questions. And you could start by, how can I make this better? Even if it was an amazing presentation, there is always, 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 always room for improvement. You need to constantly be working on yourself. So ask your boss, how can I improve? Can you give me some sort of feedback? You've been doing this for a long time. So what has worked for you? Or what is something that you've seen that has worked for someone else? You want to get some sort of feedback from them, okay? You want to make sure your boss is in a position also to give you that feedback, okay? So you're going to her and she's ready to give you all of this feedback. It's also going to make you look great. It's going to leave an amazing impression. Not only that, but you're going to start to see that you actually get better at what you do. So always ask your boss for feedback. All of these things that I've told you directly correlated with your boss. So before we do a quick recap on all 10 of the points that I've talked about today, if you are an introvert and if you are someone that is looking to get better at public speaking, you want to get over your fear of speaking, and you want to really stand out in your workplace, you want to get those promotions, you want to leave a good impression on your boss, then make sure that you join me on my next live masterclass. I'm having one very soon. All you have to do is go to www.speakatwork.com and sign up so that I can walk you through all the steps that you need to take in order to become a great speaker, overcome your fear of speaking, and really excel in the workplace. Okay, so again, www.speakatwork.com. Now, let's go over the list one more time if you've missed it. So again, 10 ways to make a good impression on your boss. Number 1, always arrive early, not on time, early, always arrive early. Number 2 was ask for help, and that means from your boss. Don't ask your colleagues for help. Don't ask other people. If there is a trainer, ask the trainer, but you also want to go to your boss and ask for some help. It's going to show that you are trying to improve constantly. Number 3 was contribute during meetings. Do not leave any meeting without contribution. Make sure that you are speaking, you're opening up about your opinions, you're talking about things that you have done. Always contribute and speak during meetings. Number 4, help your colleagues. Once you can start helping other people with their jobs, it's going to leave a great impression on your boss, and they're going to realize, wow, okay, Maria or Mason or Qasim, right, is a good leader, because now not only is he or she taking care of her job, they're helping people around them as well. Okay. Number 5, always come prepared. Do not ever show up unprepared, because things are going to be thrown your way. And if you don't know what you're doing, what you're saying, it's not going to make you look good. Always come prepared. Come prepared with questions. Come prepared with examples. Come prepared with maybe what you've been doing, right? Come prepared with some ideas. Always come prepared. If it's a presentation, you should know that presentation inside out before you're actually doing it. Okay. Number 6, show and don't tell. You want to show them who you are and what you are all about. Find out what the core values are of your company and show them that your core values also align with the company's core values. Okay, you need to make sure that's very important. If your core values do not align with the company's, then your boss is automatically going to skip over you for the next promotion or the raise, because they're going to think, hey, this person is just not who we want in our company. You want to make sure your core values align, and you should be at a company, first of all, that your core values align. It's just going to make it easier for you as well. Okay. Number 7, always be honest about your mistakes. We all make mistakes. Things are going to happen. You should be the first person going up to your boss, telling them, hey, I've made a mistake. I'm so sorry, but this is what I'm going to do to fix it and make sure it does not happen again. Okay. Number 8, master your job. You should already have mastered your job within 3 months, especially 3 months of you starting your job. There are some jobs that are more intricate that take a little bit longer, but if you can master your job in 3 months, now you're ready to start helping other people, doing other things, and then you're going to get promoted much faster. If someone's taken 6 months, if it typically takes 6 months to master a job, the job that you're in, do it in half the time, and you can do it. You just have to put in a little bit more work. Okay. Number 9, ask for more projects. And if you can't ask for more projects, maybe give your boss some ideas on how to improve a workflow or a project. Give them your opinions. Okay, you want to show that, hey, I can see something that isn't working. Let me tell you what I think is the best way to fix it. Or I can see that there's a little bit more extra work here, or I'm already taking really good care of my work. Everything is going well. I'd love to take on some more work because I have a little bit extra time. If you have the time, if you don't, then there are other ways around that. Okay. And lastly, number 10, always ask for feedback. How did I do during my presentation? Do you think I can do better? Do you think I can add this in? What are your thoughts on me adding in a questionnaire? Or what are your thoughts on me adding in a poll? What are your thoughts of me opening up my presentation with this, the title of the presentation? Ask your boss for feedback, because it's going to show that you want to get better and better. Okay. And those were the 10 ways to make a good impression on your boss and get promoted faster. If you watched the live version, just say live. I do go back and look at my comments. If you watched the recorded version, say recorded, and let me know which of these tips you're going to start doing right away. Make sure that after watching this, you start doing at least 3. So let me know which 3 are you going to start doing, and I will see you next time. Bye.